Good morning. You listen to FloorDaily.net, and I'm Kemp Harr. I'm at Greenbuild in New Orleans, and I'm in the interface exhibit in the center of the show floor with John Wells. John, how you doing?
Doing great, Kemp. How are you?
I'm good. Good to be with you. You're the president of Interface of the Americas. Let's start out talking about business conditions. It's been somewhat of a roller coaster year.
Yeah, Kemp, it has been an interesting year. The beginning of the year with some of the external factors impacted business. Second quarter was pretty good. It was a little slower this summer, but I will say, knock on wood, the last 6 to 8 weeks have been really good. Some of the best momentum that we've seen in a while, and it really matches what our forecasts have been. Some of it's just the pace of people actually placing an order or finishing a project or what have you. So it's still choppy. There's some segments in some regions that are better than others, but I do feel the momentum building on the corporate side, which is real important to, I think, the whole industry, really to the whole economy. When the American corporations start spending money, that'll be a real positive. So we're seeing that, and we're seeing the activity, and the design firms are certainly busy. You've been commenting on it and tracking it in some of your reporting, and I think we see the same thing.
So, as I mentioned, you're president of Interface Americas. As we look at the demand for tile, which is your focus from a product standpoint, and we look at your both North American business and your international business, is the North American business doing better than the international business?
Well, again, it's regional. One of the things you saw about third quarter last year, middle of last year, is you saw a European rebound, if you will. But a lot of it was centered around and continues to be a really good market in the UK. I think, of course, I'm not directly responsible for that, but I certainly am part of that management team that sees those results, and the UK's been a really strong market for us, and other parts of Europe. But at the same time, you've got parts of Europe that are, in a tough. So when you talk about Europe, it's a big, wide, diverse marketplace. Asia, similar conversation. Asia, very big story. I think the positives for us have been really the ability to recover in our Australia business. We opened a new plant after the fire a couple of years ago. The Australian business is a lot of momentum. So I'd actually say it's similar. It's choppy. It's regional. Parts of the United States are better than other parts. Canada, for us, is having a good year. So it kind of varies.
Okay. Another thing that's a big news item, last week we ran a story on the fact that you guys have refinanced some bond debt, which probably, when most people do that, it reduces your interest expense. Talk about that if you would.
Well, that's exactly it. Our financial team at Interface did a great job in restructuring some long-term debt that we had, creating a new arrangement with the banks. You said it lowers our interest expense. So it's really positive for Interface and its shareholders.
When something like that happens, sometimes a lower rate based on the way interest rates are running at the time and the way the bond market is. But obviously, it's the amount of risk involved. So doesn't it say something about these banks and these investors feeling good about where you're headed for them to offer you a lower rate?
Oh, I think so. Interface's balance sheet's good shape. We've got a real strong financial leadership on this. So I think yes.
So we're at Greenbuild, as I mentioned. You have several messages, I'm sure. Let's go through a few of them. I know you're still talking about biomimicry here, aren't you?
Well, in a sense, biomimicry, but additionally, biophilic design or biophilia has been the concept that we've been talking about for a couple of years, really. It's a growing field. We just had Bill Browning in here speaking, and Janine Benyus, his firm, Bill's firm, Terrapin Bright Green's just done a report, which is a scientific basis that basically creates the business case, if you will, for biophilic design. Biophilic design, bringing nature in and the impact that has on us as humans, where we work, where we live, where we heal, where we play, whatever it might be, both mentally and certainly beginning to see data that supports it physiologically. So that's one of the big conversations that we have. We call it beautiful thinking, that really the places that we inhabit and the places we create have a great deal to do with how we feel and how we create. And we think that collaborative spirit and that creative spirit that emerges from that's really important. So this space really speaks to that idea. When you relate it to green building, a provocative question was overheard yesterday from our team, is can a green building be truly green if it's not beautiful? So think about that. It's really interesting. I think the green building movement has been great. It's clearly got a lot of momentum. It tends to be very technical. And we see sort of this next place that's really about those in it It's about the people. It's about the humans that inhabit these buildings, and it's about our sustainability, our wellness, our health, and then all those other factors that I just mentioned. So that message is really embodied in everything that you see here with us.
Since this is audio, people can't see, but we're looking at carpet that has some of it looks like a babbling stream of water, some of it looks like little pebbles, and then the walls are covered with bamboo type wood. It really does look like you're bringing the outdoors inside, doesn't it?
Absolutely, and that's clearly the message that we're trying to deliver. This product group, if you remember, we launched it this summer at NeoCon globally. This is a global launch, so it's made and sold in all of our facilities across the world. But it is exactly that. It's a manifestation of this idea of biophilic design. So it's a group of products where the texture changes to emulate what might be in nature. And so it's been very popular. It has really taken off and really opening some great doors for us. It also incorporates this very popular, what we call skinny plank, along with the 50-centimeter tile. So that in itself creates a whole nother element of a system of design elements.
Let's talk about this show for a minute, the evolution of this show. You know, when it first got started, there were a lot of floor covering people involved. I'd say, I'm taking a guess, but probably 40% of the exhibit space were floor covering people. And now when I look, there's just a handful of floor covering people here. And you're here right in the middle. Obviously, you continue to support this show. You're also a sponsor of this show. Talk about that.
Yeah, the Greenbuild show is real important to us from the beginning. I probably mentioned this to you before, but I guess the Greenbuild show in 1995 or 1996, which was one of the first ones, Ray Anderson was the keynote speaker. And guess how many people were in the audience? 75. And think about where we are today, a little less than 20 years later, and how many people, what do we have, 25, 30,000 people attend this show. We've been here from the beginning. It's clearly a place and a platform where Ray in the beginning and then Interface throughout the last 2 decades has had a lot to say. We believe we're a thought leader in this area. We believe others think we are, and we have to be here. We want to be here because we're able to do what you just witnessed, is have some of the best and leading thought leaders in the field of sustainability come talk to our constituencies, but also begin to give us a glimpse of what's next. So it's like the market, right? We know what's happening today, and you can kind of go around and see what's happening today. But what's really critical is, where is this going tomorrow? And where will those big changes come? And that's the kind of work that we look to this show and the things that happen around this show for our help. So I have no idea how many flooring companies are here. I haven't been around. But if you're trying to purely market to these people that attend this, that's part of it. But the other part of it is really a movement that's extremely important, and we're a part of the movement, and that's how we think about it.
All right. You talked about the future a second ago. Let's talk about this Mission Zero goal and how you're doing, because every year that goal gets a little closer.
Absolutely, and for those that don't know, Mission Zero was the name we put on this vision. And Interface would be the model and first name in industrial ecology and sustainability that Ray mapped out years ago. By the year 2020, we would eliminate any negative impacts our company has on the environment. So we publish a lot of the metrics and a lot of the technical data and energy and material, chemistry, effluents, emissions, etc., and really track all that. I think we're on our way. There's still a lot of work to be done. I mean, a lot of the stuff I'm very proud of is how we've really changed the material supply chain of this product. You just talked about how beautiful this product was, but you know what? It's got 81% recycled content in it. The face fiber is 100% recycled content. I think the total product is about 30 to 40% post-consumer recycled content. So this is a very advanced example of this whole closed-loop system that we've been building, about being able to bring it back, turn it back in. So we're on our way. We see our way to the end. There's some capital constraints. There's some technological hurdles to get there, but we can see the end in sight.
Well, John, it looks like you have a busy crowd in here at your show, and it's good to talk to you. Again, been talking to John Wells at Greenbuild 2014 in New Orleans, and you've been listening to Kemp Harr and FloorDaily.net.